good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Point After, the Pittsburgh Steelers postgame show. Joining me is my ever stunning co-host, Edward and Trace.
Hi, Trace. How are you?
Hello,
Tracy's
Edward.
back with us.
Hello, William.
He
Hello,
found
William.
he found out the technological snafu. It's called accept the damn invite.
No. Stella got her groove back. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Guys, this is going to be our last one that we do for the year.
It's autopsy time, Billy.
Go ahead and bring the body in. Let's wash your hands at the sink and get the scalpels out, and let's go to work. We talked a little bit before going on air. I thought it was a bad game plan, at least for the first half. Second half, I think maybe you made some adjustments and you figured some things out, but too little, too late. But we were talking about it, I know, before going on air, and Ed, you and I are kind of in the opinion that, hey, you should have really sat back on these guys. You should have really tried. I said I would have almost went into a prevent defense and kind of just said, okay, we'll go allow the underneath, and but we're not allowing anything over the top. We're going to try to contain you as much as we can. But when you look at it, the Ravens kind of just spread them out and created those lanes, and you saw it for Henry. I mean, how he has, they score, and he has a 44-yard rushing TD to right out the gate once they score. Oh, obviously that was later, but that first half it was all Ravens. It was all Ravens, and Steelers had no answers for the weapons. And boy, what a way to. I don't know. What a way to end the season. I mean, not what you wanted. Certainly not what you wanted, losing your last 5 games, basically, the season to close this out here. So let's say you. Trace, you haven't been on it for a while. You attack this one, brother.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would go against Lamar Jackson in that prevent defense. He's not exactly a threat with an arm. The whole time he beat him was with the legs. I thought attacking the way they did was right. The problem they had was with containment after the RPO. They would be able to shut Henry down, but then Lamar was able to get something going. That's why we couldn't shut him down in the first quarter there. They start beating Lamar up a little bit, and he started handing it off to Henry. Well, then Henry was able to get something. So I don't know that they have an answer for that. And until we get an answer for that, we can't get after teams like the Kansas Cities or the Buffaloes of the world, because we can't even contain a quarterback who can't throw a ball. So I don't know. What do you think, Eddie?
It's kind of disheartening if you're a diehard Steeler fan, because you knew your opponent, you know them very well. They're in your division, and yet there was absolutely no. I mean, 165 or 162 the last game, so they only gained 20 more yards, 25 more yards. So clearly, you learned nothing from the first time you played them. Or I'm sorry, the second time in the season you played them.
Yeah, we beat them the first time we played them.
Right, 1917. Then you come into this game, and quite frankly, and it's the question we asked. I proposed. On the sheet was to Ray Fittipaldi, would they come out dead flat again? And I just had a feeling that they would, and they were just simply dead flat. I mean, and not your traditional prevent, Trace. I would have had more. I would have had more speed. They went with the bulk up front, and they rushed 6 or 8 almost every play. I would have sat back a little bit and let them, let the run come a little bit, But then after that, you adjust. They made no adjustments in the first half whatsoever. I mean, one drive was 12 runs for a touchdown. I mean, and you feel bad for Cam Hayward, who left his entire body on the field. TJ Watt, again, who left his entire body on the field. The defensive backfield, JPJ, sucks.
Terrible.
He is the worst. He gets penalties. It's ridiculous.
What's funny is they called him on. They could have called him for a couple other holding penalties, and they didn't.
That's all he does is hold.
I think it was mercy killing. They just
all he does is hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Minka's lost because he has no running mate whatsoever.
Right.
What's his name? Beanie Bishop. Was he allowed to play today? I didn't even see him.
No. Sutton played instead of Beanie.
We asked. Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
That was puzzling to me as well. We asked Ray Fittipaldo. We said, the first quarter has been bad all year for the Steelers. Yeah. Is Tomlin going to have the team ready to play a playoff game, or can the Steeler fans expect another slow start? Well, I think you can expect another slow start, guys.
Well, the thing is, I mean, all he does is turn on a quote machine, honestly. And by all counts, great coach. We all know that he's got the wins and losses. He's got a Super Bowl win. There comes a time in life where your message just falls on deaf ears. He creates these. George Pickens is just. I don't even know what you do with him. I just don't know what you do with him.
Well, I said
he has one spinning catch, and if that keeps him on the team, that I would not keep that guy on the team. I just wouldn't. I mean, it's a hard reset. It's an overhaul.
No, I agree with you there too, Eddie. By the way, I think that quarterback position needs addressed. I think wide receiver position needs addressed, and then on top of that, cornerback needs addressed. Outside of that, if they address anything else, it'd be defensive lineman.
Right. Outside of that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? I mean, that's what it is. Tracy, and
other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Right. Exactly.
So the thing we need to do also before we count how many people are not going to be on the roster next year. That's what we need to do because.
Oh, no. I want to focus effort there. I want the linemen that they drafted. So they have been trying to boast that offensive line and defensive line with some guys. I do think they're going to get some sausage out of that, but I don't think it's going to come in the next year or two.
Fautano is a one contract guy, and he hurt the knee again. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you do with that. Everyone stayed away from him except for the Steelers.
Well, yeah.
I just think, honestly, it comes down to coaching. They were thoroughly outcoached in the first half.
They were.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They rushed 7 when they scored that touchdown right before half. 7, and they dropped 4. And the Ravens had 5, so they were down 1 in the secondary. You can't do that. You can't be outnumbered in the secondary. They don't have the talent except for Minka. I mean, they're playing the highlight now. You can't do what they're doing and expect to succeed.
Well, I mean, we said this before, I even went as little as saying you go down 10-0 early and it's done. And, you go down 21-0 early at halftime. Well, you go down 21-0 at halftime and, you come back, you make some adjustments, you score. You had that Van Jefferson 30-yard pass.
Yep.
But then 3 minutes later, a little over 3 minutes later, Derrick Henry with a 44-yard rushing touchdown to just answer the bell, so to speak.
Yeah. And they're just the offense is predicated on a moon ball. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, you don't complete them. The percentage is not there.
Yeah.
It's just not there.
I mean, I'm going to go as far as saying they had a flawless first half, the Ravens. They really did.
Best I've ever seen that kind of offense run. Honestly.
Right. Yeah, they had a good offensive game plan. Todd Monken really had those guys dialed in on what they needed to do, really what they needed to exploit on the Steelers' defense. I thought they did that to a T in the first half.
And the funniest thing is, Billy, exactly what I asked him about the coin flip, they did. I said, why not take it first? And they did. They took it first because they wanted to get the offense out there, and that just set the tone. I mean, what killed him on that 44-yard was such a slow mesh. I don't know how that one. I don't know how you defend because he had his hands on the ball still, and two Steelers defenders were frozen. You can't fault them. What do you do?
Right.
On that slow mesh. I mean, and everything opened up, and he took off for 44 yards.
Yeah. Well, Henry had 186 yards in the day.
Yeah.
You were porous on defense when it comes to run defense.
Yeah.
I think that's got to be the most yards in a Pittsburgh playoff game.
299 did it finish?
No. So it says the most yards rushing allowed by Pittsburgh in a playoff game, breaking the mark of 232 set by the Oakland Raiders 51 years ago.
Jeez. And they give up 299.
Yeah.
Wow. And he could have fallen.
So let me ask you this then. Does the Baltimore have what they need to go up against some of the other big guns then, since we didn't?
Well, they're either what? They're either going to go – they either face Buffalo or Houston, right?
Right.
Go to
So
Buffalo.
Houston would be a pretty good matchup against them. Buffalo, I don't think they have it.
I don't think Houston's going to be anything. Houston got lucky today. They really did.
We've got a comment here. We've got Robert. Hey, look on the bright side. You can sit back, crack a cold one, and watch the Chiefs three-peat.
Hitting you guys when you're down. What is that?
I know. A couple more, and they might actually catch us because we have 6 still,
And they have 4. And they're more
We
likely
do have 4. A couple more was what, 2? So a couple would be
and they're more likely to win it than you are in the next 25 years.
in the next 25 years.
Trace,
That's what it was.
Trace hasn't been on in a few weeks, and man, he's snippy tonight, folks.
It was 1979 to 2005. Oh, here's the brilliant man.
He's snippy tonight.
The brilliant man's on.
Yeah, but
He's blaming Lamar.
yeah.
Honestly, really. What do you do, Trace? What do you do?
Well, obviously, when we say burn it down, I don't think it's a complete tear down. I just think it's wide receiver, quarterback, and then cornerback. So it's like the specialists, because the trenches, I think they're going to end up getting it done, but they're not doing it yet. It's almost there.
I think wideout number one, man. You've got to do something with that wideout room. You have.
Well,
you
stay wide out, but
you
if
haven't
we don't have
addressed
a game
it all
plan to get
year.
to them, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you haven't. Well, true, but you haven't addressed it all year. And you get rid of Deontay Johnson, and you have no backup plan. You have absolutely no backup plan whatsoever.
No.
You end up. Hey, it's 5 straight losses, 2 of which came in Baltimore. So there you have it.
Also, I think Tracy is spot on the offensive line. The offensive line is young, and they look like they could put something together if Fautano comes back healthy. I mean, that's a young line. Fautano, what's his name? Broderick on the side, Frazier in the middle. You got McCormick, and then Isaac Simon.
More.
What'd you think?
Moore's
from a lineman's perspective, Trace. What'd you think of Spencer Anderson's work tonight?
I think Spencer Anderson does just fine for us. He's not as good as Daniels or Malu, but I mean, I think he's more than serviceable. It's kind of like the left guard we had when Ben was playing. What was his name? Next to Pounce.
It was certainly an uphill battle going into the game. Yeah, it was, Kyle.
It was
21-0 uphill battle.
Don't forget, Anderson was also hurt, Trace.
He was.
Yeah.
I think he's really good. I do. I think he's going to get even better.
The problem you have is on the other trench. They're just too old, dude. There's nobody replacing anybody on that line.
Well, no, Benton's doing all right. I thought Benton had a good game. I think Cam Hayward had an excellent game. I think Loudermilk, he's a far cry. 99, I think 99 needs cut.
I think, guys, when you look at this, they lost the last 6 consecutive playoff games. I think this really shows you.
How does it keep his job?
Well, he's the leader of men, man.
Leader of men. Last time I checked, man, you don't lead people to losses like this. Like it's when you say porous, my goodness.
Yeah. I think it shows you the gap that's between the Steelers and the true contenders, conference contenders too. So, but I just
and the defense just has problems. They do.
Yeah,
and they're many, unfortunately.
Right.
I mean, you figure it wide out. I'm keeping Calvin Austin, and that's it. I'm not keeping anybody else. Why would you?
I would clean house completely. I think you need a complete overhaul of the wideouts. I think you've failed to address this issue for a long time, and now the chickens come home to roost. And they've done it really all year. I mean, you've had so many shots at getting wideouts. And oh no, we're good. Oh no, we're good. Oh, we can make this deal happen. No, we're good.
Yeah,
we'll only go to this. We'll only meet them halfway on this. No. Well, that just doesn't cut it this day and age in the NFL.
No.
You got to pay the big bucks if you want to, get the, But
first off,
Miles Austin did surprise me though, Eddie.
Yeah.
He does. He focused. He's holding on to the ball. He's getting after it. I think that they can build off of him, but I don't think Pickens is the answer whatsoever. He's not even running routes to even get a look on the defensive backfield.
We saw that in Cincinnati. when they had that that route down the sideline. They commented that Russell Wilson put that thing 2 yards, 2 yards from the sideline, and that's where the route's supposed to be running. He's running out in the numbers.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show you where the big
So that seems like a small difference, but that is a huge, major difference in an offensive scheme. And an offensive scheme won't work if guys are doing that.
Yep. I was listening to Westwood One because I was driving home, and Ryan Harris said it. He goes, "That's a terrible route." He goes, "Russell Wilson is putting that's a route that has to be ran down the sidelines, 2 yards from the sideline." He said, "Russell Wilson is putting that ball in that particular spot, and he's in the numbers." He goes, "That's poor route running and poor attention to detail," and he's right.
So I mean, that all that comes from the head coach. I mean, he likes to goof off. He likes to do this. Likes to be the player's coach. All this stuff. They need a disciplinarian. And if I'm the Rooneys, you cannot tell me that they're happy with this.
Leader of men, man. Leader of men. I thought the Ravens got creative in the first drive. A couple times they lined Henry up for a direct snap while Jackson came across and faked that sweep. I tell you what, Monken, there's a reason why that guy is his name's being thrown out there for head coaching job, because I think the guy understands an effective offense in today's NFL. And, I think Arthur Smith does not. Not to be critical.
No. But, I mean, let's go back to the defense, really. How were they able to frustrate Lamar Jackson all these years? They were better in their rush lanes. They were more contained. You keep the guy in the pocket, and he gets happy feet over and over again. The Steelers know that.
Well, you don't allow them to spread you out either. And that's exactly what they did.
Rush up and give them lanes. Yeah. All they had to do.
So Russell Wilson had 20 for 29 for 270. He outplayed Lamar, but Lamar's wheels is what kept that game going. Keeping that play alive is what really made the difference. It's his talent.
How many times did he run for first downs? And it was just like nonchalant. Like he didn't even get. I mean, there was literally a 9-yard cushion. Like he wasn't even remotely going to be contacted until after 9 yards. Like it was just
Well, the amount of yardage after contact was also massive.
Right.
I mean, it's. I would have tried something different because you already got beat by him one time. I would have tried something different.
I mean, he only threw for 175 yards, but he rushed for 81.
Right.
You didn't contain him at all. I would have had, I would have had a mic or something mirroring him the entire time.
The fact is, Queen couldn't do it. I would have put 40.
No, he can't do it. I would have had. Yeah, I would have had a mirror, and I would have just been,
That's all you had to do. Once it happens, once you get beyond the quarterback, and this is any team, you get beyond the quarterback and give any quarterback lanes, they're all going to create that. You have to be disciplined in your rush lanes. And
I agree there. I do agree there, but I agree with your monster back theory. I think we saw it near the end of the first quarter. Lamar took a hit and he was getting tired. Wow. I think the guys like that, the only way to get after guys like that is every play they need to be like contacted.
Well, that was Wilson. We drilled him in the back. I mean, he
didn't drill him in the back. He was trying to tackle and slowed up, and his knees hit him in the back. If he didn't take the wuss slide that he did and actually tried to run the ball like an actual running back, he wouldn't have got hurt. He did what you guys do down in Virginia and made it look worse, and then you get hurt. What he did was he put don't ever stand around a pile, Eddie.
Into his shoulder blade.
That's how you get hurt, standing around.
He drilled
him. Billy, defense.
He drilled him in the back. Go look at it. I'll pause and take a picture.
I watched it. It was Wilson's left knee into the small of his back, which hurt him.
Shoulder into his shoulder blade.
It was not a shoulder into his shoulder blade. It was just knees in the small of the back where he had no padding at.
I will pull it up and I'll take a picture of it. Send it to you.
All right. Go ahead.
Because you're going to be shocked.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I thought there was just a lot of times where the Steelers' defensive, they were just caught out of position a lot.
Yeah.
Just caught out of a position a lot.
It's just it goes down to coaching. Tomlin doesn't know what he's doing. He just doesn't. He doesn't anymore. Everybody laughs at him. They say
so Eddie, to actually go with you on that, right? So a defensive coach.
Correct.
Look at the last 5 playoff games, how bad our defense has done. So how do you argue that he's like this great coach and this huge thing that the NFL is saying he's doing all this great stuff? He's a defensive coach, and the defense looks that porous.
Well, to be intellectually honest, which is tough for Steeler fans, let's face it. I mean, let's face it. Honestly,
Boy, that's
two teams in your division for Halloween and most of the year play like your Big 12 team.
You stooped low and really gave the uppercut to the gonadial region there, Ed.
Right. Especially a guy who his team has like 2 Super Bowls.
Oh. No. We can't do those. That's a injury.
In 150 years, they have 2, and he's going to tell us how it is.
You can't play 2 Big 12 teams and expect to succeed. You can't. I mean, they're 2 Big 12 teams for the longest time. That's what they were. And even saying that, they have more playoff wins than the Steelers do.
By the way, they showed that list of Henry breaking that postseason run.
On there twice.
Yeah, I saw Riggins is on there twice. He was 33 and 83.
Yep.
He in 1983. Passed the Dolphins fullback, Eddie. Yeah. 72 Dolphins fullback. Larry Zonka. He passed Larry Zonka's playoff run or yards.
Yeah.
He should have. That's what you're supposed to do. Honestly, if I were a diehard Steeler fan, there's just no way I would put up with Tomlin. Just no way. It's not worth money. Again, Billy, goes back to Billy's question all the time. Billy, what's your question? Is the
juice worth the squeeze?
There you go, baby.
And I mean, you're saying we shouldn't put up with it. I mean, what are we going to do, Ed? I mean,
Billy, you have a voice now. You're in the media. You got to start. You got to start.
But I mean, what do we? Oh yeah, I'm gonna.
But I don't ever understand Billy. He always defenses, Tomlin. He always it comes to Jari's defense. It's like every once in a while we got to get into his head, let him know what's going on for real, right?
Those two, I'm just such an apologetic to both those guys.
I got a phone call from Billy on Friday, January 5th, and he was done. That was what he told me. He was done. Doesn't care if anybody knows it. He's done with Tomlin. That's what he said. It's the truth. I mean, honestly, it's all it leads to is that who do you trust in the organization as fans? Who do you trust? And Billy makes the point over and over again, which is extremely valid. Once Dan died, that was the last quote unquote football person they had in the organization.
Yeah, no, I said it before. I'll say it again. I don't care if people disagree with me. I don't care if people, when Dan died, part of that organization died with him. Don't care what you say. Don't care if you disagree. The proof's in the pudding. I don't have to argue my case. All you got to do is look at the the record. That's all you got to do. That part of that franchise died with Dan Rooney, unfortunately. But Art's just not a football guy. We've said this before.
Yeah.
Ed, you know them personally. You've rubbed elbows with them. You know them personally.
Yeah, I just honestly. You know what it is? You have to have a quarterback because the quarterback is the deodorant for the stink of the team.
Right.
So I really don't think that our quarterback did as bad as it looked, by the way. I do think that our wide receiver room made him look worse than what he is. But I do not think that we are able to keep him.
I'm not gonna go that far because I tell you his footwork is bad. He had some bad footwork in this game. He had some bad footwork in the last game. He's had a stretch here where it's like, okay, is this the Russell Wilson? Is this the Super Bowl winning Russell Wilson?
Oh, that's months ago.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, but I'm saying usually you don't lose mechanics, quarterback mechanics. That is. Sometimes they falter. Sometimes they're not as sharp as but you don't altogether lose them generally. Okay. Right. You don't altogether like, okay, I've lost my quarterback mechanics. In some cases, it seems to me like he's lost his mechanics. I don't know.
So that begs the question again. What do they do?
I think you trade Pickens, you let Wilson walk, and then you start rebuilding from those 2 positions.
So you keep Fields then.
I think if you could sign Justin Fields for $7 to $10,000 or $7 to $10 million a year, you'd be able to do it. $7 to $10,000. Huh? That was back when Zonka was playing.
Yeah,
you know that because you were alive back then.
Yeah. So his current market value,
is
right about there.
7 to 10 mil, right?
Yep. And here are his player comparisons. You'll love this. Jameis Winston, Sam Darnold, Jacoby Brissett, and Jimmy Porn Garoppolo.
He said, honestly, they should have stuck with Fields. Well, you know, I don't know. You know what?
After it's easy to say now.
Yeah, it is easier to say now.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say they wouldn't have went on a 7-game losing streak? Yeah, I don't know. You know,
right? Because Field slides before the first down anyway, so
it's just an organizational failure, is what it is. They don't address the most important needs in a league.
I don't know that they don't address. I think they did okay, because remember what we had last year, and now we had 2 guys come in and fill position. We made it to the playoffs. I think they did okay,
10-8.
but they could do far better.
You had 3 different guys last year, and you
right.
made the playoffs too. You know,
yeah.
So
right.
I mean, you had 2 different ones this year, and it's the same result.
Just imagine some consistency like they're used to.
Isn't that the definition of insanity?
Yes, it is. And what are they going to roll out next year? I mean, honestly, you trade your best asset. You have to trade Watt. You just have to. You need assets to get better.
You know what? He's going to be 31. I think you do him a favor by trading him, if you ask me.
Oh my God!
Where do you want to go? You know, he get him a ring, for crying out loud.
His brother was traded too late.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, with the Cardinals.
Get him a ring. Yeah, he'll probably end up with the Jets or the Browns.
Yeah.
People who can afford him.
You know, what about Cam Hayward? Is he going to come back? You know?
Yes. He will come back, and he should play nose guard position. They should actually be looking for 2 deep.
I wonder what happened to him, too, in this game.
The concussion.
They also couldn't stop Derrick Henry. Yeah. Oh, I know. They couldn't. They could not. You're right, Kyle. They could not contain him at all, you know?
But again, all that time to prepare, and what they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, you should have learned what happened last time. You should have, you know. I mean, are you not studying film? You know, are you not? You know, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, it makes you wonder what they're doing, because it is truly embarrassing. You can't tell me the Rooney's are going to come out and say that was a successful season because they made the playoffs. If they want them to be mediocre, Mike and Omar Khan job, keep going, man. Go as long as you want, because they're not going to win a Super Bowl with them. They're just not going to. I mean, it's that ship has passed, and it's passed in the night the last couple seasons, and there's
not enough innovation, right, Eddie? There's just not enough innovation.
I'd like to know what Art really thinks. I mean, really thinks. Ed, get on it. But I don't think
he's that much involved, Billy. He's just not that. He's.
Well, I know he's an attorney. I know he's a business.
Yeah. He's a business guy.
Right.
You know, and Dan Rooney, he has nothing. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He wants to be a scout, and he loves his job.
Right.
From here, I would say, honestly, it's just disingenuous. So then you might as well just call them the Pirates.
And I made the point with Ray Fittipaldo. I mean, we kind of closed it out with, where's this leave? You know, there's a lot of decisions to be made in the offseason. Where's this leave a lot of these decisions? And, you know, and I said to Ray, hey, they're not going to pay him to not coach. And he said, yeah, you're right. You know, you're right. They're not going to pay him, you know. So that's pretty much going to tell you all you need to know with their plans for Mike Tomlin.
You guys, you bleed black and gold, fans your entire life. Where does that sit with you?
I'm not happy about it, but like I said, I mean, it's, you know, this is where we're at right now. And, I agree. You're not going to win anything with them. This team, just from top to bottom, you're not going to win.
No.
They're a team.
They'll have no identity. I mean, we've been saying this for how long? Years in a row.
They're a team that wants to focus on playing strong defense and running the football, like from 1996. That's
yeah. Well, there's a huge wrench in it whenever you can't play defense.
Exactly right.
Right.
And really can't run the football either. I mean,
I think they should get a defensive-minded coach.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah. Well, you got it. You got it. Mr. Tampa too. But no,
the bad omen was immediately the tight end dropping the ball. First.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He drops the ball. I'm like, this is over.
And hey, I'm not gonna, lambaste Fryermuth for that.
He's done well,
But
it was just an omen. As soon as you dropped him,
yeah.
like, man.
And I gotta
They
say this, they're gonna part ways from Najee, and they should. I mean, he's not a good fit here. I think he knows
And
that. I
think
think everybody knows that.
just like Jimmy Khan or Jimmy James in the desert, he's going to do very well.
Yeah.
He's going to get with a power running team.
I don't know. I tell you what, I don't know, Ed. I don't know about him. His vision, I really don't like a lot of the things he does too. I mean, I don't know. That guy, he doesn't have really good vision, I don't think. I mean, you see
but there's no holes. What if he goes to a place where they can block somebody who does a better zone scheme than
I don't know about there's no holes. I've been watching a lot of this game film. There's holes there that I don't think he's hitting. I think Billy's a little bit closer to what the truth is.
Yeah, there's holes there.
Who played more snaps tonight?
Well, yeah, I get it. But I mean, there's holes there. I mean, we've been saying
there are holes there. There's cutback lanes too.
Well, and I get it. They're not utilizing the way they're trying to make him a sideline runner, which is stupid. That's not his. Even when he was at Alabama, he was never like that.
Nods think like that,
right? Exactly. But I said it. He's a defense magnet. I mean, there's holes there. I mean, there has been holes there. And I said, he gets gang tackled. I said, I've said it before. I know, people laugh. I say, he's a defense magnet, and it's like ushers from the stands are coming down even to get in the action. I mean, it's just, he's getting tackled,
Man, I saw a popcorn guy jump on the pile.
Yeah, threw the popcorn down, and he
jumped in. Well, I mean, here are his stats. Second
50 guy.
Second leading receiver tonight.
He's doing his tickets all over the.
Who was the second leading receiver tonight for the Steelers?
Miller.
No, Najee.
Yeah,
he's also the leading rusher. I mean, how in the hell do you give the ball to Jaylen Warren?
Yeah.
6 times the whole frigging. Well, I mean, the first.
Well, half, how are you 3rd and 18 and you do a short dump off to Najee Harris and you get 2 yards and it's I don't know, it's just
if they don't get rid of Joey Porter Jr. also, I mean, he is terrible.
Well, like I said, he got called. He could have probably got called for about 3 more holding calls that I called.
Oh, easily. That's all he does.
Yeah.
And Tomlin's like, oh, he's solid. He's solid. Good technique. What are you talking about? Who's evaluating his technique? I mean, the naked eye, you can see it. He grabs in the inside every time.
Yeah.
I'm kind of dumbfounded.
Gentlemen, I mean, anything else you want to cap on this? I mean, this is a cap on this. I know when we do our Pittsburgh show, we'll be kind of season in review. That should be a short one, huh?
Now we don't say short around here anymore, dude. We can't say that. It won't be long though.
Yeah. No, I mean, what can you say? I mean, what we called this basically. I'm not gonna, but we basically said they get behind early, it's over, and it was. I mean, you're not gonna. You think you're really gonna put 28 points on the board in the second half with the way the offense has been? Come on.
And what did they do? They made adjustments, which the Steelers never did in the first half. That's the difference in coaching. We'll let you get a couple. We're up. We got 4. You got 2. All right, now we're going to pay attention, and we're going to take away what we weren't taking away. And that's the difference in the game in coaching.
Right.
Where was Tomlin's adjustments? They had no adjustments whatsoever. Again, And then he's talking about, well, it's Lamar's skill set. I don't know many teams. Come on, dude. Yeah. Your job is to get the team ready to play. And again, they weren't ready to play. It's just unbelievable.
Now, how about the crowd chanting MVP? Come on, man. I mean, he's quiet down. You gotta help your guy out, man. Jeez. You don't know that? You guys aren't football fans?
Come on, Baltimore.
Horse? Well, you guys aren't sports fans?
Come on.
It's funny though, because Lamar is definitely not the MVP. Like, I know he's done it in the past, but I don't think he's anywhere near what he used to be, and I don't think he'll ever be that again.
Tracy Sirocco.
He was 2-4. He was 2-4 going into this game, but I tell you what, he he kind of
He's lost a step. Okay.
So they started playing football in 1867. He's the 1st
Mhm.
one rushed for over 900 yards. And
Yeah. How many Super Bowls do you have, Eddie?
He's got 0. You're talking about
Oh,
this
okay. Then he doesn't matter. Then it ain't. Don't mean.
He's going to be the MVP. I tell you, he's going to get his 3rd MVP.
Tell him, Billy. How many's he have? Goose egg. He hasn't done anything then, Ed. It's a winning league, Edward. It doesn't matter how many yards and stats he has. He has 0 Super Bowls.
But what
0
do they
rings.
What do they measure the MVP on?
That don't matter what they measure an MVP off of. It measures off of the Lombardi trophies. He has 0. He's not even going to get close to it this year.
Swimsuit edition part of it. There's no, personal talent involved in it. It's your stats, and his stats are outrageous. He's gonna.
He's a prolific player. There's no doubt about it.
He's the
absolutely prolific player, and during the regular season, I think he's great.
Well, I mean, hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I don't think they win if they go to Buffalo.
I don't either. I think
they beat Houston easily.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, absolutely. I think they win in Houston.
I don't think it's easily. I think it's a good game if we got, because I think Josh and Lamar will end up ball controlling out of it. And if somebody makes a mistake, like a turnover or something, that's it. Nail in the coffin.
Right.
You just think the last person that holds the ball will win?
Yeah. Well, not quite like what Mahomes and Allen were doing, but pretty close.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But
all right,
either host Houston or go to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, they'd rather host Houston,
Oh
I mean, for sure. I mean, you don't want to go to Buffalo, and I know they don't want to go to Buffalo, and I don't think they'd win in Buffalo. But Houston, yeah, I think that matchup is
so much for the Steelers knowing their opponent, and they just didn't. Unbelievable. That guy, man, he got to go, Billy.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next year. No. Next week. No. Next week.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, next year. You're right, Billy. No,
when we say year, it's like 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see Yins then.
Yeah, we'll see you then. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and thank you for. Yeah, appreciate it.